The MIZUNO Alpha is back with major changes. The first impression when wearing the MIZUNO Alpha 3 Japan was the length feels extremely long. Because of this, we conducted this review wearing a half size down compared to the previous MIZUNO Alpha models. The upper of the MIZUNO Alpha 3 features a knit material. Although the surface looks smooth, it has a coated finish that gives it a slightly tacky feel. When worn, the grip sensation that was present in previous Alpha silos could still be clearly felt. The upper feels thin and firm, similar to Alpha 1 and 2, but it is noticeably more flexible than the previous models. Thanks to this combination of flexibility, thinness, and firmness, this was personally the most satisfying MIZUNO Alpha soccer cleats we have worn so far. One of the key changes in the Alpha 3 is the transition from a separate tongue to an integrated tongue design. A highly elastic knit material is applied around the instep area, which significantly improves the sense of unity between the foot and the soccer cleats. There has also been a slight change in the last. The last used in the Morelia Neo has been applied to the Alpha 3. As a result, the overall length feels longer than the previous version. Although the same last is used, the fit feels different from the Morelia Neo. A more detailed sizing review will be explained later. Despite wearing a half size down, the toe box did not feel cramped at all. The toe area is also made relatively high, giving it a slightly roomy feel. Additionally, the application of Zero Glide mesh inside the soccer cleats has changed. In the Alpha 2, Zero Glide mesh was applied throughout the entire interior. In the Alpha 3, however, it is only partially applied to the forefoot area, excluding the heel and insole. When worn, there was no foot slippage at all, and the overall fit did not change significantly. Also, the sock bunching or slipping that occurred when putting on or taking off the cleats due to excessive grip in previous models was no longer an issue. The Alpha 3 retains the same external heel counter as before, with moderately thick padding inside the heel. Heel lockdown felt slightly weaker compared to the previous model, but it was not uncomfortable. Personally, since the grip in the previous version felt somewhat excessive, the structure of the Alpha 3 felt the most balanced and satisfying. Under the heel, the same MIZUNO Energy foam used in Alpha 1 and 2 is applied. When pressed by hand, some cushioning can be felt, but during actual wear, the cushioning was not very noticeable. The insole has been changed from the Zero Glide mesh insole used in previous versions to the MIZUNO Energy XP insole. While earlier models focused heavily on grip, the Alpha 3 places more emphasis on cushioning and shock absorption. The insole is relatively thick, with a standard mesh material on the top surface. When worn, a moderate level of cushioning and responsiveness could be felt. Since the tacky Zero Glide mesh was removed from the top surface, putting on and taking off the soccer cleats felt much easier. Under the insole, the Carvo RS material is applied only to the forefoot area of the insole board. This is a structure we personally prefer. And while wearing the Alpha 3, we could feel a responsive and springy sensation during forward movements. The outsole remains the same as the previous version. It is based on a nylon sole plate and features TPU triangular studs. We tested the Alpha 3 on both well-maintained artificial turf and poorly maintained artificial turf with shorter grass. Overall, stud pressure or sole stiffness did not feel excessive. However, the stud length made a noticeable difference. On well-maintained artificial turf, the cleats felt stable, but on poorly maintained turf with short grass, the stud length clearly placed more strain on the ankles and knees. Currently, an AG version of this model has not been released. If you plan to play on artificial turf that is average or below average in condition, we recommend waiting for the AG version before purchasing. When kicking and shooting with the Alpha 3, the ball felt powerful off the foot. Despite the upper being more flexible, the sensation at impact was excellent. During curl shots, the grip on the upper surface was very noticeable. Although there were concerns that the grip might decrease due to the change in upper material, the grip remains strong and is considered one of the key strengths of the Alpha 3. When passing, the more flexible upper absorbed some of the ball's impact, creating a feeling that the ball stayed close to the foot. The grip of the upper was also noticeable during first touches. During dribbling, as with previous Alpha silos, the grip of the upper allowed for excellent ball control. Precise touches are crucial during high-speed dribbling, and in this aspect, the Alpha 3 felt like a lightweight, aggressive-style soccer cleats well suited for attacking play. For reference, the reviewer has a foot length of 268 mm, width of 100 mm, usually wears Nike US 9.5, Adidas and Puma US 9, and wore US 9 in Alpha 1 and 2. For the Alpha 3, the reviewer wore US 8.5. In US 8.5, the length fit perfectly, and the width felt standard. The midfoot was slightly tight. Not uncomfortable, but some mild numbness was felt. Personally, after trying both US 8.5 and 9, we chose to go half a size down compared to Alpha 1 and 2 and found this to be the most satisfying fit. Since the Alpha 3 runs long and sizing preferences are subjective, we strongly recommend trying them on before purchasing. This concludes the one-line evaluation based on the All That Boots reviewer's hands-on experience. We hope this helps you make a successful soccer cleats purchase.